What's an immediate red flag to hear from HR during a job interview? What would be the lowest salary you would work for? Absolute minimum that you can tolerate? What a nice way to make a possible new employee feel appreciated. I always ask about training and learning curves. Every job I've had that went wrong. I noticed that when that question came up they stumbled. The current job I have, when I asked the question they had sparks in their eyes as they explained the whole process from day one of shadowing to the transition to working solo. And even when the pandemic hit they managed to continue without skipping a beat. On 2 occasions I got a job offer but the official salary was different than what was in the job listing. Each time I was told it was because listing a higher salary attracts more qualified candidates. Declined both offers right there on the spot. I interviewed for a job recently with a small startup and they asked me if I had any questions. I told them work-life balance is important to me and asked what a typical work day looks like for their employees. They told me that was a risky thing to say in an interview and most startups would consider that question a red flag. I said I didn't need to work for that kind of company. You need to buy X to start training. Or sign a contract that will charge you for training if you do not work there for so many years and a non-compete clause to force you into a different line of work if you leave. I believe some of these have been outlawed in some places now. You'll wear a lot of hats. We're going to make you do the work of 3 people but only pay you for 1. We have a hard time keeping people in this role. People realize this job sucks and bail out quick. Do not discuss your compensation with other team members. Somebody, probably the most senior person there, is getting screwed, and they can't afford to lose their experience. It will someday be your turn to get screwed. They pulled this on us at the evil empire, Bank of America. I started a trend in our office of writing our names on our lunch bag in the fridge. My name back then was 43,500. Fast-paced work environment and, we're a family. And, work hard play hard is code for long hours and no work-life balance. They are interviewing for a position that is currently held by another person. HR asks for discretion since they have not told the employee they are being let go yet. If you leave before 1 year, you owe us $10,000 that we had to pay the recruiter. This actually happened. No, I did not continue the interview process. Any restaurant that charges the cooks to eat. I once had a potential employer who wanted me to take a day off of the current job I had at the time, and go work for free for a whole day for her, and then only if she liked me she was going to hire me. Which is illegal, of course. Time worked is time paid. Yay, we'll need you to come in for 4 more interviews and then we'll discuss the salary. For some jobs, overtime is understood as a necessary evil at times, manufacturing, medical, law enforcement, etc. For retail jobs, however, when they start talking about flexibility and scheduling you should be wary, since that often means, whenever we tell you to be here, you better be here. And those jobs don't pay nearly enough for these kinds of demands. Talking about your weekends? Gone. Called you up on your day off? Be here in an hour. Worked until midnight? You're scheduled to open the next day. My job now tells me I gotta work Saturday? Okay. It's the same time as my normal shift, the only difference is I'm making $36 an hour to do it. Retail jobs? Scheduled you for 16, worked you 39.5 on the fly, then cut you down to 10 next week because I'll be damned if you're going to hit the average where I have to provide benefits. I once went for an interview for a very senior job and in passing I mentioned I am gay. There was an odd moment so I asked if that was likely to cause a problem because I didn't want to work somewhere where that got in the way. The senior director across the table said, "No, that's definitely not an issue for us or the company. But don't tell the CEO." We've been in a hire freeze for 3 years, but we finally got clearance to do these pre-interviews for our pre-interview process which we just know we'll get permission to start next month, so that when we finally have permission to hire you'll only have to do 3 more interviews. Rapidly shifting priorities is code for management doesn't know what they want. I interviewed for a pest control company receptionist job. The interview was going well, until my interviewer went off on a tangent about how godly and Christian the owners were. I politely ended the interview. Too many scoundrels hide behind a Bible, and use it as an excuse to treat the employees like garbage. If you hear any of the following during an interview, run. We're family, they are predatory and treat their employees like crap. We work hard and play harder, they will load you with a lot of work, and expect you to accept it. You will need to buy material or training for the job. Cheap employer wants to push their costs on you. Wear a lot of hats, will expect you to do more work and jobs than what your title entails. Without a raise in pay. We need you to sign a contract, predatory company that will abuse you, but tries to cover their ass legally. We don't talk about salaries until the last interview, they don't pay well, and are trying to hide it with a mission. Usually will make weak promises of raises in the long run, but won't keep their promise. The strongest stay at our company, very high turnover, so they sugarcoat it with different labels in hopes of finding more suckers to work for them. The position being filled today is a bit different from the one you applied for. It's always an entry-level POS job nobody would ever apply for and guaranteed nowhere near the money stated in the advertisement for the job. Get up, walk out and ghost them. Give them a bad review too.